iconic crypto art. So some of you probably already received a job from our Polkadot Decoded online conference. Besides this institution museum show, I was also lucky and very blessed to work with Christie since 2018, when the very first Art and Tech Summit was held in London. And that year, the very first topic was actually about the blockchain, if the artwork is ready for the consensus. I think this NFT boom, we have to make this special contribute to Christie's because of their cultural influence and the people sale. So the people outside of the crypto world start to learn about the NFT. Besides the Beepos sale, in this April, on Asia, so Web3 Foundation also working with Christie Asia, co-producing this NFT 101 Mandarin course. I'm also one of the producer leading this Mandarin tutorial with Christie Asia. Right after that, let's kick off to today's outline. So I want to make this session into two parts. One is about the market status, where the market right now, and especially Q1 of 2021, is a very crazy and also very blessed season for NFT. Where the $2 billion goes. We will dive into the history, art history also, and also illustrate why this technology is so important for the art creator. And also, what's the segmentation of NFT besides art? And what's the trading volume? How much is the active wallet and the user? And what are the leading platform? And how is the royalty distributions looks like? And then the second major part is on the NFT landscape on Polkadot. So from the foundation side, we've been constantly to granting these grants for builders around the world. So how many NFT related teams are working on with Polkadot with grants? And also, who are the treasury funding projects? And especially now we already launched the parachain. For the builders in the ecosystems, who are they and what's the NFT standards? And also in different scenarios, game, art, music, and metaverse, who are the teams working on that? To getting started, why artwork is so valued this NFT? Because it's the first time in this artwork history that all the creator is able to receive the royalty on the secondary sale. The artist Robert Ellis has put that during one media interview and saying that it's probably the first time in the history that artists enjoying this privilege since Renaissance. In the art world, the provenance has always been an issue, but the NFT and the digital art can secure the digital ownership and can give the on-chain provenance by nature. When it comes to the besides art and design, intellectual properties also holds a massive market share. And besides, we also see the funds incoming. So like the B20 and also K21 are the perfect example. And the financial data, the generous data, we also see that can be a very potential area for where the NFT, the technology can be penetrated into, and also the financial transaction. In art world, there also has been a very heated topic on how the NFT, especially the POW, have the impact to the environment. But luckily for Polkadot, we are a POS chain, so that means we will consume far more less than a POW chain, and also in the circulation process compared to other digital solutions, and also what's in the art world are doing by using all these printed catalog. It's definitely blockchain is definitely consume less energies. This chart, it's a very interesting way for the crypto people to take a look at what's the art history and also the support behind that. There has been this accusation from the art world saying that the crypto art is not so artistic. But why crypto art is so popular now? One of the reasons is the background behind that are the financial disruptors of our current areas. So all the name lists above, the Medici family, Rothschild, Rockefeller, and Guggenheim, they were the financial disruptors of their times. The Medici family not only invented this accounting mechanism, but also funding of the Medici Bank, so that they can sponsor being the patronage of the great artists like Da Vinci. So the Renaissance happened, and the Guggenheim family are funding of the museum, and also the Rothschild is supporting the artists that they endorse, like Rembrandt. Now we come at a time for the decentralized crypto capitalists. Crypto is one of the biggest innovation in this century, and came with that are the new form of art, the crypto arts, which represent the crypto culture. So that's why, besides the NFT technology, the crypto community's culture is also coming into the new world and also embracing with the traditional art world. Let's take a look at the market. 2020 is definitely the year to enjoy this NFT transaction explosion, leading by the NBA top shots. And right after that, in the Q1 of 2021, the single season in total accumulates around 2 billion sales in US dollar around the world. But interestingly, the volume of the active buyer and seller are not that increased, but less dramatically. So that means the major supporter for the NFTs are still the active crypto holders. So let's take a look of the market breakdown. So in this chart, you can see in this 2 billion sale, that is leading by the collectible and the crypto art in the same segments. There are more than 20 times the volume traded over the previous 3 months. It is the 131 times the volume of the first quarter of 2020. And the sports, the single segment, appear to have the highest retention rate in the industry. Controversially, the metaverse becomes the segment with the least loyalty community. The data source was from the nonfungible.com. Besides the collectible and art, we also see the utilities and the gaming, the metaverse are also the very popular segment in the NFT sector. So sports actually have the most liquidity rates. And in the single segment, we can see that the Super Real is the leading platform in the digital arts. And for the metaverse, Crypto Voxel, the Sandbox, are leading the market. Came back to Polkadot. These slides summarize all the grants that Web3 Foundation have given to the global team, which is NFT related. We can see that there are some storage, and also many newcomers are working on this IP management, and also NFT lending. Of two treasury, the Polkadot and Kusama treasury. There are three related funding. We're going to the state mine functional token explorer, and also the Chiba gallery, which will be the first gallery built on top of Kusama, and also the crypto art exhibitions and competition. Let's see if we can click on this video. I actually want to show all of you guys this online demo for our Qinwen gallery. It's built by BitCountry. So probably it can't be alive, but that's okay. If you go to this website, chiba.bitcountry, you will see a live demo of a metaverse version of online gallery, which is built on Kusama. And after parachain, the Kusama NFT strategy group will resume the work, so that for our community members, no matter you are a crypto artist or you are a builder, you can list your crypto art in this metaverse galleries. And the last but not least, what's the current landscape? So as all of you might know, we already launched our first parachain, which is run by Parity, the state mine. And Gav was building the NFT palettes on state mine. And we also have many parachain builders that support the EVM with their standards, like Akala has the ORML, which enables to mint the NFT with them. And also Plasma just announced their strategic partnership with leading the Japan's animation company Jungle. And the latent tree is the DID and the social network chain on Polkadot. So they are also having this My Crypto profile, which enables to link your Twitters with your NFT wallet, so that you can showcase your NFT portfolio with your Twitter. Crest have this decentralized storage that's tailored for NFT platform. Besides, in Metaverse, we are having Darwinia and also the BitCountry are building for Polkadot. And on the financial data, Centrifuge are building this supply chain finance with the receipt as NFT. And our next guest, Ternoa, they will be showing us how the privacy data will be work in the NFT world. And in art, we are having the unique network Remark, UniArt, and ATO working on different aspects, from the collection management or building the infrastructure for different artists with special project ideas. On audio set, Polka Music is a project just came from our Indian hackathon. I also saw in this PokerCast want to do the decentralized podcast on Polkadot. From the collectible, Substrate Punk and the Cello Break are the two collectibles built on unique network. And also the Poker Pads, Dago, and Boundly are also building the very interesting collectible. On the utility side, on Ethereum, they have a very powerful EOS. It's very popular. On Polkadot, one of the China team is also building this poker name. Canadot is building this NFT Explorer. And also on gaming, we have a very influential project engine moving from Ethereum to us, and the dot mock, and the China one of the China team is building the Web3 game. So that's all from today, and thank you for attending this session.
Thank you so much, Qinwen. That was great. Like, it was super interesting, very insightful. A view of the market and the NFTs and how they're growing, especially within the art realm. We have one question here. Is there a Polkadot NFT for the is there a project NFT for the Polkadot or Kusama? Has a palette been created in Substrate for NFT that comes out of the box?
On StateMon, you will find Gav is building this palette called Unique. So it's a tour you can mint NFT.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Great. That's all the questions that we've got today. So thank you so much, Qinwen. It was great hearing you speak about this topic. And thank you so much for staying up so late. In case anybody wasn't aware, Qinwen's actually broadcasting in from China at the moment. So really appreciate the midnight stay up. Oh, we got one more.
Thank you for having me. Sorry. Yeah.
Please. We got one more question. Can we still ask for help for new projects?
Sorry, ask for help?
For new projects. I guess this is kind of outside the realm.
For new projects, I think it's still very early stage for Polkadot. There, Ethereum community, they got all different infrastructure building. If you're a dev or you're from like art or creative background, so Substrate is definitely one of the powerful tool you can use, and there are so many great teams you can work with, either to launch your NFT on different marketplace or to build your customized chain, solutions or dApp with EVM. Yeah, on Polkadot. I definitely recommend Polkadot. Yeah, it's very early stage now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Qinwen. That's all we have for today. And you can sign off now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Have a nice day. Yeah. Bye.
Ciao. So yeah, next up we have Eliott.
Hey, Carol. Thank you for having me today. Shall I share my screen maybe?
Yeah, let's take it off from here. I'll let you go.
And here we go. So yeah, thank you for having me today. And thank you for Qinwen for the presentation from before. And today's presentation, second presentation, is about Ternoa and what we do and what we call, we like to call them next generation NFTs on Polkadot. And we're going to dive into why we call them that. So just a few words on me before we start. I'm involved in a few projects in the Substrate ecosystem, one of them being Ternoa. I'm also working a lot with a company called Nodo and a few others. If needed, you can, there's my Twitter, my website, and you can also text me if there's anything. So let's dive a bit into what NFTs are currently, and I like to call them NFTs 1.0 because so far we've only really seen one, I would say, big implementation of NFTs. There's a few variants, but it's a bit all but the same, and it's all used in the same way. In most cases, when you think about it, they're mostly used to represent the fact that somebody owns a digital good or a collectible. If you look at art NFTs, in most cases, the NFT really represents the fact that you own a copy of the image that you booked. And technically, that's all. However, there's lots of things under the hood. There's the fact that the simple fact of buying the NFT makes you feel like you own something for real, and makes other people kind of want to get in and also, get the same NFT or get something similar. But technically, even again, we are only representing the fact that maybe you own an image that is stored outside of a chain that's not physical. And technically, if you wanted to, and that's what I've done for the little crypto kitty on the right, is that if you just wanted to get the image that you wanted to, you could, right click on your NFT browser and just download the image and you'll be fine. And you'll probably not have a certificate that you own something, but you will have your image, and in some cases that's all you want. Although I do not encourage anybody to do that. And so far, these implementation of NFTs have been used in lots of platforms. We've seen games as CryptoKitties, but also more advanced games where lots of items are represented as an NFT, and people can trade it between each other, and there's a bunch of rules because it's great. We've also seen, as Qinwen went over, lots of use cases around the art industry. Especially in the past few months, there was kind of an NFT boom specifically around art and very specific collectibles such as football cards, or the people art, or the people pleaser art. And last but not least, we've also seen quite a few use cases around the idea of using an NFT to represent more abstract things, like a virtual piece of land in a virtual reality environment, or maybe a virtual house, or maybe blocks to build a house in a game or a VR game. But so far that's all we've seen, and at Ternoa we're thinking, what else can we do with it? And more than that, we had a use case, a very different use case, and we realized that NFTs could be very powerful if integrated into that use case. And initially, we wanted to focus on making a piece of data very easy to transfer, but extremely hard to access if you are not the end owner, the beneficiary, if we can call them that way. And we figured that NFT, since an NFT is actually, if we come back to the previous slide, an NFT is really represents a certificate of ownership. That's what it is. It represents the fact that you own something that is stored somewhere else, and that you own the rights to that thing. And we figured out that we could use that to map an NFT to a blob of data that is your data, that is secured, that is encrypted, and more on that later. And with that NFT, technically, you should be able to transfer that NFT to your friends, to your children, to your family, to whoever you want. You could even sell it if you wanted to. And the person receiving that NFT would then be entitled to access that data, because then again, owning the NFT means that you are entitled to some rights and to some ownership. But if you remember a few minutes ago, I was saying that if you look at the art use cases, for instance, you can simply right-click on a piece of data on an image and just save it. And we didn't want to keep that door open because we are trying to optimize for pretty much private data, or at least data you want to transmit between your family and other use cases like that, and not things you want to be public. And to do that, we won't dive too much into technical details because that's not a technical method. But to do that, we figured out that we can encrypt the data and have a network of trusted execution environment, manipulate the keys to make sure that only the owner of an NFT can actually decrypt the data. Meaning that if you do not have the NFT, you can query all the network you want, you can download all the files you want, but you are not able to decrypt the data because you do not own the NFT, you do not own the certificate to access it. We won't dive too much into the technicalities, and obviously it's built on Parity Substrate. So, just to highlight a bit more how it works from your end, that's a bit what I've been saying. The idea is that you can take pretty much any data you want, and we like to call that a capsule. So you can build a capsule with pictures that you want to send to your friends, or maybe files that you want to send for a business use case, maybe medical files, or maybe certificates of ownerships of actual physical entities. Once you have that blob of data, you just encrypt it, send it to the network. We have a bit of legwork that happens under the hood, but you don't have to care too much about it. And that data is then stored on an off-chain, what I call an off-chain decentralized storage system, which is basically IPFS, storages here. And after doing that, we then issue an NFT that you can use to claim back access to your data. I hope it's clear. And we've decided to do a bit more than that. We initially focused on being some kind of protocol for transmitting full capsules and encrypted data and making sure it's kept safe. But we also figured out that we can also bundle it into a wallet and make it extremely easy to use. And currently it's on test flight, and I believe it is also on Google Play if you have an Android phone. But currently we have that wallet that can be used to create such kind of secured NFT, such kind of capsule. And as you can see on that slide, we're making it very easy. And there's a tab that can be used to look at other NFTs. And if you think of an art use case, in our case, the NFTs that we're showing on the third screen can only be opened, in quotes, by the actual owner of that NFT. Meaning that if you're an artist and you are selling your art, well, you can probably show a low resolution picture, but then only your actual buyer can access all the details, all the pictures. I remember I had a friend that I wanted to bring to the NFT space. She's an artist, obviously, and her main concern was that she had issues in the past as an independent artist of having people taking her art and using it for other things, like making t-shirts with it. And as an artist, she was not receiving any cut from that. We believe that kind of implementation technology can solve the issue that we're highlighting, which is the fact that an NFT can simply be duplicated and we just don't know the image. Because here, only the owner of the NFT can actually access it. And we've decided to kind of push that idea a bit further. Our initial use case when we launched Ternoa was really focused on transmitting data over time, meaning that you could create some kind of capsule, like a time capsule, when kids bury a box in the ground or like a bottle in the sea. And so since we are representing the right to access data via an NFT, it means that we can use every single capability and other product based on NFTs or using NFTs to do pretty much whatever we want with that data. Meaning that even if the data cannot be accessed by anybody, we can still use the NFT to maybe put it on a lending protocol when the time comes, fractionalize it if we want a DAO to own it. Or, and in our case, that's what we're optimizing for, making sure, putting it in some kind of escrow so that it can only be sent, for instance, 30 years in the future, 6 months in the future, or maybe when a specific set of conditions are met. So for instance, when somebody dies, maybe you want a dead man switch. Or if you lose your keys, maybe your friends can come back together and unlock the NFT for you. So that's one of the things we've been kind of optimizing for. But on top of that, obviously, we do see lots of use cases that are already kind of covered by NFTs, but that we believe we can solve in a better way. If you look at the luxury industry, for instance, if you buy a very fancy watch or very fancy jewels, in most cases, you're also given a piece of paper that certifies that you are the owner of what you booked. That's also the same actually for art. But if you buy that watch, then you are supposed to register the serial number on a website. Well, through one of our incubators, we do have a project that's focusing on making that more digital native, a bit more paperless also, and a bit more secure. And the idea will be to use a Ternoa capsule and the underlying technology behind Ternoa to transmit to the buyer of the luxury goods as an encrypted certificate that only that person can access, meaning that we will be able to breach both worlds, basically. There will be that NFT that not only represents the fact that you bought, a watch, but that can also be used to access probably a copy of a PDF of the manual certificate with all the serial numbers, with all the details, and all the things you don't really want to expose publicly. Because, maybe if I have the serial number of your watch, I can call the manufacturer and make sure that they update the records. If you look at art, I mean, we kind of covered it at this point. Are re-optimizing in the case of the art industry for a use case where an artist does not want to expose all the details of his work publicly because maybe he's concerned or she's concerned of having the art stolen, or maybe we can think of a physical piece that can then be manufactured locally, and maybe you want to embed in the NFT details on how to manufacture it. If you look at platforms like OpenSea and its competitors, they used to, and I believe they still have, a feature where the artists were able to include all those information, store them on the OpenSea servers, and OpenSea will be able to unlock the data only to the buyer of the NFT. Well, in our case, we do that in a fully non-custodial manner, meaning that it can be used without having to rely on any central party. Because then again, we're optimizing for that. The data is stored in a decentralized storage system. It's encrypted, and the keys are manipulated by a network of dedicated nodes. And if we go a bit further, we are starting to see use cases around the idea of pure data storage. So far, nobody has really been able to replace Google Drive in a decentralized way. I mean, first of all, it's pretty good and pretty reliable. But so far, there was no real way to store a big amount of data on a decentralized network. And there was no easy way to make sure that no one that's not authorized will be able to access the data. Well, then again, since we're optimizing for that use case, we do see some potential use cases on the idea of having an NFT that you can obviously unlock, but that you can also update with new data that you encrypt again. And maybe if you want to share a file with a friend, you could share a new NFT with them that only gives them access to the ability to decrypt the data, but not re-encrypt it so that they cannot edit it. I hope it's clear. And I guess it's time for questions.
That was great. Thank you so much, Eliott. So we have two questions here that we can ask you. The first one, are you concerned about the regular breaks and hacks of Intel SGX?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's something we kind of wanted to tackle at the beginning when we architecture the project. And initially, I'm not gonna lie, our first design was to store the decryption keys fully in one or many Intel SGX enclaves. But we realized that with all the breaches on Intel SGX, it was probably not a good idea. And so we have added a second layer, which relies on something called Shamir secret sharing, which is the idea that you can take a key, break it in multiple parts, store those parts in different places. And then, you basically need to get all the parts and build the key again to decrypt the data, to keep it simple. And what we are doing here is that we are storing a shard of the key on each SGX secure enclave of the network, so that even if somebody can break one of the enclaves, they still have to break, I don't know, 20 more of them. And when you think about it, the cost to break into a secure enclave, an inter-secure enclave, is very high, because first of all, you have to break into the validator, into the node, meaning that you need to have an access to it, or you need to code somebody. And then you have to do some very precise attacks that not only many people can do, to break into the Intel chip itself in order to access the SGX data. And then you probably have to break a few more encryption systems in order to decrypt the key shard. So we do think that we're pretty safe against it. And even if in the hypothetical use case that one of the SGX enclaves was breached in the Ternoa network, then again, the other enclaves are here to make sure that this network is still safe.
Great, thank you. And then finally, do you think Ternoa is the answer to digital rights management, preventing parties to abuse any content or art if under a contractual agreement?
Well, I'm biased, first of all, and I would like to say yes, but I think the answer is a bit more in between. Like I don't think there's any optimal solution for anything. When you think about it, I believe we are very well positioned to prevent some breaches of agreements. For instance, maybe we can avoid the typical issues with people seeing data they're not supposed to see, and probably with a bit more work we can probably control a bit more. And I was teasing at that in the presentation around the idea of data storage. We can probably control a bit more who can access what file, who can edit what file, and what they can do with it. But obviously, if you think about it, once you download a file, if maybe you've been given read access to a file, then we probably won't be able to prevent you from sharing it with someone else. Where we are shining is that only the people you wanted to share the file with in the first place can see it. Then, if you can't trust your friends, there's probably an issue, and we're probably, no one really knows how to solve it except if you use very restricted systems that do not allow you to share files. It involves, running custom laptops and crazy things that's not usable for people like us.
Great. And then finally, we have, when is this going live?
Hey, I believe it's already live. Somehow already live. So we do have a chaos net. We call that a chaos net because it gives the right to ourselves to reset it if needed or to break it. The next step is around September, we plan to issue to release a test net. And then by the end of the year, obviously that's not, that's things always changes, maybe go for mainnet. We are currently working with a company well known from the ecosystem, I believe, called Substrate, which is also related to the Integrity Parachain and to the SCS team to actually build the Intel SGX compatibility feature. And obviously that's open source. The ChaosNet is accessible. The wallet can be downloaded on TestFlight and Google Play and all those kind of things. So people can test it, but it's not live per se just yet.
Great, thank you so much. Clear. Yeah, I think it was really clear. I think really interesting what you're building. Definitely very innovative, especially in the NFT market. We got another question. Are you multi-chain?
Well, the world is becoming multi-chain, first of all. We're all into Polkadot, and the main idea of Polkadot is really to bridge multiple chains and build dApps that can exist on multiple chains. For instance, maybe you can use an NFT and lend it on a color. A color is another chain, like we don't want to keep people on our chain. Currently, we do have a token live. There's different strategies around that. But the platform is being fully built on Polkadot, and the idea is really to make Polkadot and the Substrate chain that's currently running in chaos mode the first citizen to that. However, we are talking with actors and other chains from the ecosystem. You can do the math regarding based on where we are. That maybe we can build bridges from our Substrate chain to them in order to allow them to benefit from our features, from our unique set of features. Which will mean that maybe an OpenSea platform. We are not working with OpenSea from what I know, but giving examples, an OpenSea-like platform will be able to build around the secret/capsule NFT use case without having to build it themselves. And that's really why we kind of also want to become a parachain, which is that we will be able to offer fuzz features and fuzz, I believe, unique capabilities from what I know to other chains.
Great. Yeah. All about that interoperability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shiny. Well, it's happening, when you look at everything that's going on. So things are going to become more and more interoperable. If you look at Tether is already launching on announced, I believe, launching on State Mine. So many projects are being really multi-chain first, and that's what we want to be.
Yeah, it's definitely the future, I believe. Great. Thank you so much, Eliott. Thank you so much for your talk. It was super interesting. Getting a lot of positive feedback in the chat. People are really excited about it. So long may it continue, and I look forward to see like what else you come up with in the future and like how things develop. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for submitting your questions. If you're looking to watch the recording, it'll be available directly after this event on Crowdcast right here. Available for replay directly after, and then it's also going to be available on the Parity YouTube. So thank you. Our next meetup will be on August 12th, so keep your eye out for that. Details should be coming up soon, and you will look forward to seeing you then. Thank you again, and have a great evening.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Thank you, Carl.